Hey everybody, so today we are going to be learning about how to teach someone something, and that's really your challenge. But before we get going too far, I want to talk about choosing your topic. So when you choose your topic, you want to, first of all, make sure that you're teaching something that you know very well and that you really like and that you feel confident about. And so we can think about teaching in terms of teaching someone knowledge or teaching someone a skill. So let's start with knowledge. And there's all kinds of different ideas. So let's say you wanted to teach someone about 10 plants that you know really well and you feel are really important for other people to know. So you could make cards, with the names and pictures of plants, and start your student off this way, and then move to outdoors and actually show them the plants, tell them what you know about the plants, explain why it's important to know names and uses of plants, and then go from there and then hopefully transfer that knowledge from you to your student. Another thing, similarly with cards like this, you could teach words in your language. Okay, so that words that you know very, very well and you want to transfer that knowledge to someone younger or someone who may not know the language, that would be a really good thing to teach. Other things, if you're a math person and you like solving equations, you could make up a math worksheet and then actually go ahead and teach someone how to solve equations, go through the process, and then give them some questions and see if they actually learned how to do that. Another great thing to teach in the world of knowledge is how to play a game. So for you people who know how to play chess, chess is a great game. You can travel anywhere in the world and find people that know how to play chess. And so you might want to teach someone else. So you have to start, with the pieces, their names, the way that they can move on the board. And then bit by bit, you could actually teach someone to play by playing a game with them. So lots of things that we know a lot, and then just think of something that you feel that is very important for someone else to know, and you could teach them what you know. Okay, the next one is skills. So skills are all about how to do something. So I made a list here just off the top of my head, like how to build a fire, how to paddle a canoe, how to make bannock, how to make a bracelet. A lot of people know already how to use thread and make a bracelet, so maybe you want to teach someone else. How to make earrings. Okay, there's all different kinds of earrings that people know how to make. If you already know how to do this and have the materials, those are great things to teach somebody else. If you have a basketball and a basketball court or hoop, you could teach someone a lot of different things. How to dribble a basketball, how to shoot, how to do a layup. Okay, so any kind of sport-related skill is a great place to start. Or for all you choreographers out there, you could put together a sequence of dance moves and then get a little class and teach them your dance and have them perform it. Okay, so how to, if you know how to braid hair and make fancy braids, you could teach someone. If you know how to put on makeup and you want to teach somebody how to do that, those are all skills that are transferable. So when you're thinking about planning to teach someone something, come up with your topic. Remember, make sure it's something that you are very confident about and that you like to do, or you know very, very well and you want to share your knowledge. Then think about your students. Who are you going to teach? And depending on the skill or the knowledge that you're going to transfer, that will determine who your students are, because you want to make your lessons challenging but not frustrating. Okay, so think about age appropriateness Think about if you are going to be doing something fairly intricate with small little beads. You have to have a certain age group that can handle that and not become frustrated. So think about who you want to teach. Is it going to be a one-on-one lesson? Are you teaching someone to play chess and you're just going to go through one-on-one and then actually play a game with that person? Or are you going to have a little dance class of 3 students or 4 students, and you're going to teach them the sequence, put on the music, and then get them to the point where they can perform on their own? So think about your students, think about where you're going to hold your lesson and how long of a time span you have. Okay, so if you're going to be teaching someone how to paddle a canoe, there's obviously a place that you're going to be able to do that, and you maybe want to meet your students there and then set aside an hour to teach the lesson and have them show you. If you're going to play a game of chess, decide where you're going to do that game. Remember, it's going to take time to go through all the pieces, setting up the board, learning the names, and then you can start into a game. Okay, you don't want to be under a time crunch, so make sure that you set enough time that your student isn't going to get frustrated because you're trying to rush them through the lesson. So set lots of time aside. And then the other thing to think about right at the beginning, even before you start to teach, is what do you want your student or students to be able to do at the end of that lesson? So at the end of the hour, do you want them to have created 1 earring? Is that the end product that you're looking for? Do you want them to be able to play a game of chess with you? Do you want them to be able to perform your dance that you choreographed? Do you want them to be able to stern the canoe that you've just taught them how to steer? Do you want them to be able to keep it in a relative straight line? Okay, so always think, what do you want your student to demonstrate at the end of your session? And depending on the complexity of the task, that will determine what they'll be able to do. Okay, if it's their first time ever in a canoe, then at the end of an hour, you probably don't expect them to be an expert, but you might expect them to be comfortable and to be able to demonstrate, how to paddle the way that you taught them. Okay, so find out where and when, think about what you're going to want to see at the end, and then from there, plan your lesson. So just to go over really quickly again, when you actually go to teach, you're going to gather up your students or your student, set aside enough time, have your equipment ready. So if you're going to be teaching them how to make a bracelet with thread, make sure that you have all the materials that you need right there. So when your students arrive, you can jump right into the task. If you're going to be teaching them how to build a fire, make sure that you have the place set that's safe. Make sure that you have enough materials. You're going to be able to find what you need. Make sure you have your matches with you and some kind of container, pots, whatever, so that you can put it out when you're all done. Along with having equipment ready is really think carefully about safety. Okay, so if you are doing something like building a fire, think about all the things that could go wrong. Think about the things that your students need to know in order to be safe. If you're going out on the lake in a canoe, make sure they have the proper equipment. Okay, make sure that they have PFD or life jacket. Make sure that the conditions are right. If you've planned it and the day turns out to be really stormy and wavy, then that's not a good day to take a beginner out. If you're going to do something like teach someone how to, take a piece of stone and carve it into something, remember that your student might be using tools that they've never used before for the first time. So teach them how to use the tools safely. Okay, so if you're cooking, remember there's going to be a heat source there. And remember that safety should be part of every lesson you teach. Then you're going to go ahead and teach. Some things to keep in mind is make your lesson interactive. So unlike this video where I'm just talking at you, that's not ideal. So make sure the person, you get them outside, or if they're learning a game, they actually get to handle the pieces, to see them, to look at them, learn the names. You can have a little quiz with them, make it so that it's going back and forth between the teacher and the student. If your task is somewhat frustrating, if it's a skill that takes a lot of practice, remember to give your students breaks, okay? If you're teaching your choreography and you find your students are starting to get tired and their brains are overwhelmed, let them have a break, let them go get some water, let them have a chat with each other, and then go back and start into it again, okay? So whatever they're learning, if it's you always want to teach people kind of a step up from where they are, there is going to be that capacity for frustration. And remember, as a teacher, part of your job is to keep your students safe physically, but also emotionally, okay? So make sure that you're very positive. If you see people getting frustrated, take that into account. Remind students that a lot of skills, you don't learn them overnight, okay? You're introduced to them and then you have to practice over and over and over. And then lastly, let your students know what you're looking for. So let them know that, at the end of the lesson, if you're teaching them how to swim, then you want to be able to step away from them and actually they can demonstrate what they've learned. Or if you're teaching them how to make a bracelet, you want them to know that at some point they should be able to work away on their own and actually have something to show for it at the end. If you're teaching them on those plant names and you've gone for a walk and you've shown them all the plants and told them about them, then let them know that at the end you want them to be able to show you the plants and name them. Okay, and that's about it. Okay, topic, place, time, students. Teach them something that you like to do, that you feel really good about. Let them know what you're looking for at the end, what you want them to be able to do, and then just go ahead and have fun. Teaching is fun. Teaching is transferring what you can do, what you know, to somebody else. Okay, so that leads me to the last thing, which is your reflective question, which is, I want to know, who did you teach and what did you teach them? And what did you learn about yourself by being a teacher? Okay, so did you learn that you're very patient? Did you learn that you're really good at transferring a skill from one person to another? There's lots and lots of things we can learn about ourselves as we put ourselves in a position to teach. Okay, that's it. You know what to do. Go on the website. Look down below, see the question again, and then get that Google form sent in, and have fun. Have fun being a teacher.